And now for our first read on politics, a report by the Associated Press is bringing new scrutiny to the finances of Bill and Hillary Clinton. The report reveals that former President Bill Clinton has used a shell company to receive payments for consulting and other services. The company is called WJC LLC and does not appear to have any employees. Now, the report also shows that Hillary Clinton's campaign did not include the company in her financial disclosures. Officials with the campaign and with Bill Clinton's office say the disclosure is not needed because the company has no assets. And joining me live now, MSNBC political reporter Benji Sarlin. So, Benji, is that explanation enough to make this latest question go away?
Well, the early read from campaign finance experts seems to be that there's nothing inherently wrong with this, apparently. You don't have to disclose assets under a certain amount, and apparently this fit the bill that it did not have enough assets in it that it needed to be disclosed at the time. And there's nothing necessarily fundamentally wrong with using one of these shell companies to manage your income. But it's also not something the average person does. I mean, this is a sort of unfamiliar financial instrument for a lot of people. You usually don't get your income through this, and it points to the way the Clintons have gotten their income, which is through things like multi-million-dollar, speaking tours and consulting fees, things that the average person just does not conceive of as the normal kind of job. So to the extent it draws scrutiny towards that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of these problems.
The First Read team writes this: the Clintons have a Mitt Romney problem on their hands, wealth and otherness that voters might not be able to relate to, especially when the likes of Bernie Sanders are campaigning against wealth. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, this is a situation that Democrats sort of set up for themselves with the last two election cycles. There were a lot of attacks on Mitt Romney's wealth, and there were a lot of attacks on John McCain's wealth. Now, some of these had to do with actual allegations of, things that Democrats said were wrong, like layoffs at companies that Bain took over in Romney's case, for example. But a lot of it was just things like the shell company, things that just seemed odd, or things that just seemed like something a rich person would do and no one else. For example, how many times did you hear about Mitt Romney's Swiss bank account? Yeah. That made it into ads. You heard it from Obama campaign circuits all the time. Mitt Romney has a Swiss bank account. There was never any indication there was anything wrong with Mitt Romney having a Swiss bank account or that he used it for any kind of nefarious purposes whatsoever. It was just an asset he had.
All right.
But it looked so unusual that they just loved harping on it over and over again. And I think you'll see something similar here.
Okay, I think a lot of people would agree that you're right. We'll probably see that a lot. But let me